must address every aspect of it substantially. Nobody is safe as far as even Vladimir Putin was addressing a conference, his annual conference recently, and he was hacked. His conference, he loved to show his big body on the worldwide television, and he was hacked and he was disrupted by some quick, smart Ukrainian IT hackers. So how invasive has been this phenomena worldwide, and how important this is, especially in the context of India, as again highlighted, being we are the emerging nation. It's a 1.4 billion population. It's an enterprise. It's an individual, and it's all about national security. I just quote the World Economic Forum what said recently that it is a catastrophic happening if we do not address the situation substantially, objectively, and it's kind of the widest that not only block our way of living but control it and deviate it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some of the finest and distinguished panelists here. I start with Ambassador Freddy. He's Ambassador of Denmark to India. Ambassador has contributed a lot in Indo-Denmark bilateral relation. He is a champion of sustainability and green strategic partnership that he thinks India should strive for while we go for emerging nation, sustain and then grow. So we welcome Ambassador Freddy from Denmark. We have former Vice Chief of Army Staff, General A.S. Lamba, a stellar leader from the Indian Army, of distinguished career across 40 years, and commanded strategic post all across India, and he joined us. So welcome General A.S. Lamba. We have a former ambassador, Anup Mudgal. He has been former ambassador from India to Mauritius, again our key strategic ally in our times. And then, of course, for Ministry of Defense, a government agency which is responsible for all the actions and for the security of the country overall by constitution itself. Welcome Deepak, Kumar, Vishwakarma. I begin with, let me tell you a very interesting fact about that. There's a company called Maersk, which you know that, and here our former chief of naval staff, he must be aware of Maersk. And Denmark is a leader, is a commercial leader in the shipping world, basically. Way back, Maersk was attacked, so much so that they had to halt their operation worldwide. Can you imagine the billions of dollars of shipping containers around the world that includes some of the essential materials were stopped? The Danish government took a quick decision, and now Denmark is one of the most cyber-secure countries. I want Ambassador Freddy to talk about your strategy, and then I will come back to how we should build up. Take example from Denmark. Ambassador, say a few words on this, how your country is working towards this, your cybersecurity strategy.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and Manish and members sitting on this dais. Of course, cybersecurity is something that we have to deal with each and every day. It goes for the nation, it goes for the companies, it goes for the individuals. And there's no way of getting around it. I think whatever we are doing, we will always be reactive. And the whole question is, how do we develop a more proactive strategy so we can counter whatever comes to us? We have to deal with state actors, non-state actors, criminals, and so forth. And there are no limits, so to say, to these things. What to do? What are we doing in Denmark? Of course, we have to defend our critical infrastructure. And I have to put it into a due political context because India and Denmark, we believe in the same values. We share them. We are seeing eye to eye. But we have friends or foes somewhere out in the space and the cyberspace who are not sharing the same values, and they are using that as a tool. So you can disrupt, you can destruct, you can discontinue, you can do everything. So there's only one around it for a government, that is to develop a strategy which is multifaceted and can be proactive. It's easy said. The new Danish government, who has the same prime minister for the last couple of years, they just decided to put even more money into the defense of our national interest. So one thing is, of course, that you can ban technologies. I've seen India banning a lot of apps, and 5G is up, 6G is coming, and whatever and whatnot. So we have really to have a multifaceted approach, and also including the corporate sector. But when it comes to really to the biggest threat, and it was also mentioned earlier on, basically, this is this device here. I mean, I thought I had a good brain, which I still believe, but the real brain directing me, disturbing me, perhaps also destructing me is this one, because it's guiding me, and much to my surprise, I will not say what I did, but last year I had a discussion with two friends in India. I wanted to go a special place. Within 1 week, that came to the knowledge, and then somebody reacted in Copenhagen. I'll not say what it's about, but it's really, really disturbing that you can sit with people, and I was not even having this on me. I was in a safe box and so forth, but without no limit, time, distance. It was everything was, let's say, conveyed to Copenhagen. So it's a little bit strange, and we have to realize that this is fantastic, but it's also destroying us. It's really disrupting us. So how to do away with that? We can't just throw it away. When I see India, you are really a tech hub, and in the future, nothing can happen without India being on board. Therefore, we would like to have a closer, stronger strategic cooperation with India on the technology side, because India will be the pool for new technologies, emerging strategic technologies, but we will always be reactive. I don't see how we can be proactive, because the benefits of this is also very good. Dhanyavad.
Ambassador, indeed, of course, thank you for opening remarks. I straight away come back to General Lamba. We just heard from a senior officer from Indian Army. So many agencies are there. I mean, some of them I couldn't even recall. And of course, it's good to have so many agencies working together. The question would be very specific. It's about 1 million force. You represent almost a mass of India, and you represent the security of India, General Lamba. How do you see the army per se, security forces per se, giving importance to this cyber security threat? While we have so many agencies at work, why I quote this particular, I see so many, of course, officers, your institutions, using Gmails, GPS. Those are, of course, we can relate to the foreign countries. What can be, I mean, you see, we talk about the gaps and status at the moment, General Lamba, straight away.
Thank you, Manish. I think that's a very open and a vast question, but I'll pick a few points down top as you left them. And you said the threat, the Gmails, and other communication routes that anyone is taking today. And I'll tell you a one-line take on that. When I was in service, till today, I don't have a Facebook account. I don't have any account on any platform. And I thought that was the right trend. We did not encourage people to do it. We had no policy. We guided people, stay off this hook. And I think it'll still work today. But well, it's a new world which must cope with a lot of issues that they want to. So that's one. But it's to say that that's a defenseless border. That's a pacifist attitude, what I am saying. But it worked 10 years back. You know, when I formulated the first doctrine in 2010 on behalf of our track, when we held an all India policy with experts, the threats were not even a tenth of what we see them today. It's open-ended. There is nothing, no domain, there is not penetratable. And the digital borders, I think some of the lines here said digital borders. I think in this field, there are really no borders. It's to satisfy yourself that you want to give some inclination that I know what my digital border is. The mind want to know, but physically there is no digital border. So I think the faster we realize that we talk about digital borders, but there isn't any in practice, is something that will guide you well as to what route you take. Third, going up a little, I'll go to the tactical level. When a group of younger officers, and yeah, tactical would mean somewhere around brigade level or a little between brigade and division level, the components of the army that must function and maneuver in a battlefield need systems that are well contained in the army. So the third part of the strategy is these are controlled strategy. You must have heard of a lot of ASCON network, yeah? The Army's signal operating network that we had 15 years back. Secure till today. Similarly, the Air Force built up and so did the Army. Coming to a strategic level, A lot of maneuvers at the strike corps level and the Indian Army level is level 2, third, second. And that's actually where today, because of control and maneuvering of those forces, probably the internet becomes actually indefensible. 5 years back, there are a whole lot of forces, air forces in the world, which can guide the FAC, the forward air controller, not by radio communication or classified communications, because there is no time. You simply guide him off an open mobile, secure. But you can guide a man coming from the Air Force into a tactical battlefield and strike enemy. And finally, at the strategic level, there are a host of agencies that we just heard, none from the, I mean, from the leaders of this, direction in General Pant and Admiral Mohit Gupta. There are sets of systems that are being put in place. But all I want to say is these are systems just coming into place. With defenseless borders, and I say it with conviction because I've read every rise of China in this cyber space and AI. And I can tell you, they are not close to us. They are right in us. When you say embedded systems, they are right in your pocket. When you say, Alexa, please switch on the light, you've let off so much information back into from your bedroom right into the Chinese. So I think the systems are there. The Prime Minister lead direction, we want to make cybersecurity a part of the integral national security. Very well said. Instruments, what we heard from the horse's mouths, to say that these are reassuring points. But I think the strategy, Manish, to my knowledge, is yet to be formulated. And the strategy has two aspects. A strategy that you make for the services. The challenge is how much of it can you share with the services? Who do you tell this and how do you prosecute are the elements of this?
Thank you, General Lamba. Vital explanation and questions you also raised in between. Basically, I'll quickly come back to former ambassador to Mauritius. Of course, he sees India in the emerging India in the global market. And the threat which is coming. I quickly also point out that we have a national cybersecurity coordination at the Prime Minister office. So the importance is being shown that yes, we are looking at from the top. The threat is there. But my question to Ambassador, are we really looking at such seriousness? We understand the threat is so serious, and you see still lacking some cybersecurity architecture in India. I want you to remark.
Thank you, Manish. Since this session is slightly different from what we have discussed so far, I thought as a diplomat, ambassador, I will try to deal with this issue from a